Hey, welcome to episode 31 of the Bad Batch podcast. Whether you've seen one Star Wars film or have mastered all content of the Star Wars universe, this podcast is for you. I'm your co-host, Justin Samoy, and I'm here with Drew Criswell.
Yes, sir. Welcome back.
And BJ Davis.
I'm here too.
Yep, we're all here. So I promise you that we're not releasing bi-weekly episodes normally. It's just the summer. We're all traveling. And by all, I mean me and Drew a little bit. So BJ is the only one who's we've all been going places. Just happens last week. We were a little booked up. So we're back. We're better than ever, hopefully. And we're going to review the most two recent episodes of The Bad Batch, which were Infested and War-Mantle. And before we do that, obviously we have some news that we want to spill for you guys and from what we've collected over the past couple of weeks. So let's kick that off.
Yeah, so kind of similar to the last few weeks, it's not a whole lot of official news, but there's a lot of underlying rumors and kind of interesting things that either actors or certain like leaking sources have like uncovered or released. And one of those that kind of goes along those lines is Rosario Dawson sharing an Instagram post from a fan that alluded to Mena Massoud and Lars Mikkelsen being cast as both Ezra and Thrawn, which is something that, I mean, we've been talking about this for months at this point, how it's all but confirmed for the most part. Like, there's not a whole lot of doubt that's kind of like what it looks like and what pretty much like all of the trades have talked about, like that's what it like is the big rumor. And now that doesn't confirm it by any means just because she reposts it, but to have someone who's like a co-star, I don't know why you would repost something that if you didn't know them, or like if you, because that is already in production, I believe.
Yeah, so it's like almost confirmed there, but I have no idea what kind of trouble these actresses get in. Like, I don't know if Tom Holland got into trouble for his little.
He probably got fined or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean they do sign NDAs, so there's something, but there's also like to a point where like an actor might not realize like that's a big deal, you know. Well, I mean, you're obviously briefed on it, but I'm sure it's just a lot going on. But
Yeah,
I
that would
mean,
suck. Imagine be
yeah.
like, am I allowed to share this? Like having to get permission all the time.
No. But I mean, we kind of all knew that that's what was going on in that, so super cool. And now I guess we'll just wait and kind of see if that goes anywhere and the official hiring comes out. But kind of moving forward, an official hiring that did come out was, so on YouTube, I believe the guy's name is Shamuk. So he is a big channel and he does like a lot of VFX kind of work, like touching up CGI type stuff and a lot of like um facial recognition and like the face mirroring, face swapping, if you want to call it. And so he did that for the end of, spoiler alert, end of Mandalorian season 2 when Luke came back, and it was just like a little wonky how it looked on camera.
So is he the one who fixed it?
He put out a video where he fixed it on you. He put it on YouTube.
I remember one of you guys sending it to me like right after the last episode of Mandalorian.
Yeah, because I know Corridor Digital did one too. Like all of
Yeah.
them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so he's done them before, I believe, from everything I've seen. I have not personally seen his version of it. I didn't go in and check. But he has apparently done versions where he took like Harrison Ford's face and he like imposed it on scenes from Solo.
Yeah, I've seen those actually.
I saw clips of that and that looked really good. So super. And so I guess I don't even know if I've said this yet. I'm just talking about it. Lucasfilm hired him for I guess season 3 and beyond. So good for him. I think that's super cool that they're like reaching out to the fans, who are a ton of them are incredibly talented. So I think that's cool, just because people think that they they kind of like weren't caring about the fans after the sequels, and there was all that back and forth about like your Snoke theory sucks and all that. So there was like, I think in a broad scope, there was a lot of feeling of not resentment, but like a disconnect. And I think that's
Mhm.
cool that they're kind of reevaluating. And then the whole like Pablo Hidalgo thing with Star Wars theory, and I think that like didn't help the situation too, like making it seem like Lucasfilm really just doesn't care.
Mhm.
Um, I think this is cool that they actually have, like, it looks like they're definitely caring
Yeah.
more now. And then kind of moving forward in that same vein, uh, as we were talking about the other week, it was August 25th, the second half of the second season of The Gallery. Maybe they'll just call it season 3, who knows? But so it's like the behind the scenes and the making of and all kinds of stuff for all the different series, like they do it for Marvel too with Assembled, right? I think
Mhm.
it's called that. So they did it for season 1 in a span of like multiple episodes, and then season 2 they kind of just released this like hour and 45-minute long cut that just kind of went through everything, which is cool, just different. But the glaring thing about that was there was no touch of Luke Skywalker, nothing
Mhm.
about Mark, not like the biggest reveal of the whole season, pretty much, and they didn't address it. But now they are doing a full part 2 just dedicated to that and showing Mark and stuff, and a picture actually got out. I'm not sure where this comes from, but you can definitely tell it's legitimate. Yeah, if you're watching on the video podcast, here's like a still of it. I'm sure this is from a leaked trailer that someone just screenshotted or something. But we were talking about how some people were saying Mark Hamill didn't actually do the body double. Some people were saying he did parts of it. Some people were saying that he was just on set looking at it. But I mean, clearly in this picture, you can see that he is filming for it. Um, so, so I guess that's pretty sick. So it's cool to get confirmation of that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
no, that it's cool to know that he was actually there, and
Mhm.
because I actually didn't think he was. I'm like,
It was like
huh.
during COVID, right? It
Mm-hmm.
was filming during COVID. Yeah.
And it was apparently like a very small crew. Um,
Yeah,
like
like we were saying earlier, they never like really appeared in the same scene, so they could have easily had them separate from everyone.
Yeah, I wonder what that was like for like Pedro Pascal and all them, just to be like standing like, all right, something really cool is happening right here. Just look at it and go, and like that was it. So
pretending. Yeah, and I mean, because I read an article or something somewhere where they were talking about how they were really scared because so much of season 2 had leaked. So you like Bo-Katan, like Katie Sackhoff as Bo-Katan, that leaked. Rosario Dawson all but leaked. Tamara Morrison as Boba, like that leaked. I think even like the Timothy Oliphant thing with him being what's his face from the book series,
Cobb Vanth.
blanking on Cobb Vanth, yeah. So that leaked, and I think they were like really nervous about that end reveal leaking, which luckily I guess didn't, because I mean I think the payoff was really cool. But yeah, so I guess it's cool to see some behind the scenes stuff and more pictures and stuff like that. I'm sure will start coming out when we get a trailer pretty soon, I would imagine. But yeah, and then BJ, you had some Mark Hamill news as well.
Yes. So Mark Hamill revealed on Twitter that he has done voice acting in Star Wars, just like secretly. I don't think he was like credited or anything. He did in the Force Awakened, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, Rogue One, Solo, and EV9D9 in Mando. I don't even remember who that was.
Yeah, I'm sure it was just like a side droid kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, that
Yeah.
it's cool and it makes sense because like after Star Wars, his like 90%, or I mean not that high, but like 70% of his acting has been like his career is a voice actor,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which
Um,
is like
and
it's like
yeah, it's
insane.
also cool just to have him in like everything moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fully invested in Star Wars, which is cool.
Love it.
Yeah. And I know, because I know there was like concern about that after the whole sequel situation, how they handled his character and everything. So, I mean, it's even cool to see like how excited he is about the Mandalorian, with like kind of shedding some good light on a character that had been around for so long, and then he wasn't happy with what they ended up doing
Yeah.
with him. But
And Mark Hamill, if you're listening to this, we would love for you to do some voice acting on the Bad Batch podcast.
absolutely, and we know you're listening, so hit us up. You know, you can Bad Batch podcast on. You know the deal. We'll get
He
you
already
those
follows us.
contacts at the end. And then kind of lastly, a very Mark Hamill heavy pod today. So Mark, we did this for you. Last bit of news, circling back to old MH. So well, I guess it's more Luke than MH, but the like an actual official poster for, so I believe it's gonna be shown at Comic-Con or maybe D23. I don't remember which one it said it was going to be released for, but it's a promotion for season 3 of The Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett. We're not exactly sure yet, because there's rumors it could be for Book of Boba Fett, because we know that we're pretty sure that they're going to be in it as well. But it has Luke with Grogu, and they're like assembling a lightsaber in the air, and it's a yellow lightsaber crystal, the kyber crystal.
Just like Rey's.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of cool to have it have the yellow lightsaber be more canon, and have it like have more screen
More
time
normalized, yeah.
than in a 1 second thing at the end of his sequel series that didn't make sense.
And I think the yellow one looks cool. So, and like in all the, I can't think of games where you customize your Jedi. Like Fallen Order or Force Unleashed. I'm pretty sure I had a yellow.
Didn't the whatever Guardians have them in Rebels?
Oh yeah, I mean like in live action. Yeah, the Jedi Temple guards did have them. Yeah. So that would be, I mean, I think that would be really cool. But I goes back to something that I think BJ, you said before. We're wondering if we're gonna like do a time jump at all now, because it's like Grogu having a lightsaber is like interesting, and being as young as he is.
Yeah, we can barely not eat frogs. So
and also like I do wonder now, like what are they gonna do with the character of Luke? Like, are they gonna keep doing this like face mirroring thing if he's gonna be like in a bunch of it? And like logistically, how do you do that?
Maybe that's why they hired Shamook.
Yeah, that could be it. Like that would make a lot of sense. I was also wondering, like, what if they just are putting out this poster where they're like making it Mark's face, but then they like drop the reveal of like, I'm still on the Sebastian Stan wagon.
Yeah, no, I like Stan wagon. Sounds sweet.
I know. As soon as that came out of my mouth, I was like, coin that term.
You stand Sebastian. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about like the face. Dude, like, what's it called? I know it's not called face recognition. What is it?
Face swap?
Face
No,
swap.
it's not face swap.
Whatever the term is.
Deep fake.
Deep fake, yes. Like, I think it's cool, like that people can do it and a little creepy, but
yeah,
you know, the uncanny valley thing. Like, you want it to be a real person, and like, because I mean, I liked Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo, and he looks like kind of like Han or like Harrison Ford when he looks like this, like in the trailer he did, but like that was it. Really, he doesn't look a lot like him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, I can get past that, like recast younger casting versions easily.
Yeah, the I would be totally cool with that, and I think that would like be another like show of faith with the fans that have been pushing for that for a long time, and like it's been a big buzz for a while. So I think that would be a huge like release moment at like a D23 or something.
I just don't see that happening though, because they hired that dude from YouTube. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier is getting a season 2.
Oh yeah. Wait, is it, or are they just doing Captain America full?
Yeah, they're doing another movie.
Yeah, they're doing the movie.
Oh,
Loki's in season 2.
Oops. But he's gonna be in another. Well, I don't know. That'd be sweet. I'd love to be in both. But also, it's probably a lot of pressure.
I mean, that is a ton. But it's like also why, like, so another thing too, like just talking about people doing multiple projects, like with Pedro Pascal doing The Last of Us for HBO.
Mhm.
They said that it shouldn't affect production of Mandalorian anymore, which is set to film like September, or they're filming parts of it now or something. But he can do like remote voice work. So he's not going to be, I don't know if he's even going to be on set for like a majority of it, which he hasn't in the past.
Yeah, I don't think he's like on the set as much as people think he is.
Yeah, because
No,
he
yeah.
has a double.
Yeah, it's like 3 guys who plays the Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that could be interesting. Also, just quick touch point. I saw this earlier today. Speaking of like season 1 and season 2, the like the What If series. I know we talked about like what they did about Star Wars with the Marvel show that's coming out on the 11th. There's already 2 seasons.
Of What If?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
There's gonna be 9 episodes in season 1, and then 9 episodes in season 2.
Cool.
Yeah. I think these are the first 3 episodes. I saw this today where they said episode 1 is the Captain Carter. Episode 2 is what if Black Panther was Star-Lord, and then episode 3 is the Loki on Earth.
Dude, the Black Panther as Star-Lord is such a random one.
Yeah. But it makes sense because it was just like an alien picking up someone on Earth, and I guess then they just went to Wakanda and got the prince.
Yeah.
Also, super cool that Chadwick Boseman is voicing him for 4 episodes.
Yeah, that's gonna be his last performance, right?
Because I think he might be the only one actually doing this. Because I know Robert Downey Jr. is not doing it. Tom Holland is not voicing Spider-Man. And someone today tweeted at Batista, and they were like, why aren't you doing the voice of Drax in the What If? And he was like, yeah, what if they actually had asked me to do it? So,
wow.
That's awesome. Yeah. What a good response.
Yeah.
I think that's what he said. He said something along those lines. It was like, damn, okay.
Did you know he used to live in Ashburn? Just fun fact.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. He lived in like the Village.
That's wild. That is hilarious.
This was during his WWE days, so I don't know if he still is, but
yeah.
Interesting.
That's
so funny. You lived in Ashburn the same time with him?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, like when we were in 5th, 6th grade.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. All right. So is that all we got for news?
Yeah, that kind of wraps it up with the news. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of official stuff yet. I would stay tuned though, because I believe I just saw something that was like D23. I think they're still doing it remote or whatever. Mm-hmm. I could be wrong on that, but we will definitely be getting stuff at D23. And I don't know, was Star Wars one of the ones that they were like, they're not coming to Comic-Con? I know I said something about Comic-Con earlier, and I might have been misspoken.
I have no clue.
I am unsure.
Either way, we'll be getting like official stuff soon, hopefully, or like at least like a sizzle reel for something. I would imagine in Obi-Wan they've been filming it enough to the point where you're like you might get something along the lines of like what you did with Andor, and also if we get something for Andor.
Oh yeah, that one always gets kind of like left behind in like terms of thought, because I'm sure they're still working on it.
Which I think we said this last time though, but I think it's gonna be a sleeper.
Yeah, I know. I think it will be a sleeper. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, I think that it's
because not really tied to too much. Where you're like, oh, if Ahsoka doesn't show up,
yeah,
you
don't need anybody to show up.
I don't need anyone to show up. I just need casting to be like, being crazy rebel. So
yeah, but yeah, so that kind of does it for that, and now we are walking into the main event, the last 2 episodes of The Bad Batch.
Most recent 2 episodes, if you're listening to this at a different time, because there's still 2 more episodes left. But yeah, forgot to say this before the news. Spoiler warning. Drew dropped a spoiler warning for the news that he did spill, but here's a spoiler warning for the 2 most recent episodes of The Bad Batch, Infested and War-Mantle. So Infested released 2 weeks ago, and it was an episode for sure. It was
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking about this, yes, it was a filler, but it was good. There was action. It had more characters, a character we could probably see in like the Book of Boba. Like he won't have his horn because it got cut off. We'll get that connection. I like that. It was like how Clone Wars just like fleshed out more characters.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was action packed. Although it didn't move the story along, I think that's okay. Not every episode of everything needs to move the story. Just as long as it's not like consistently fillers all the time, like certain shows.
I think my only real issue with it was not that I thought also that I was like filler, not that it just didn't really do anything for me. I think it's more like of the placement of this episode in the context of like where we are in the series. Like the weeks before this, I'm documented saying like, where are we going? What is the deal? What's going on? And this just felt like an episode that like kind of belonged like maybe before the whole Hera arc. Like maybe I would have put it there or like around that somewhere, because I don't hate the story itself. Like the story, it just there's not a lot to it. It does further the relationship with Sid. It does like show them like working together and like doing all this stuff, and like there's like some high stakes that go on, and then it's just like this same thing of like Omega finding the good in people. But yeah, I just don't know about the placement of it. It just, I don't know. I didn't hate it. It just didn't really do anything for me.
And now that you say it, it definitely could have been before the Hera thing, because even in the most recent episode, War-Mantle, they're still like on a job for Sid. So it's not like they couldn't have done a job, or done the whole Infested episode. And did I say Infested right? I have no idea. I'm blanking.
Infested,
but they could have had the Hera and arc, and then go straight into this the most recent episode, War-Mantle. But like, yeah, it was a good episode. There, like, I mean, the stakes were kind of there. But I mean, BJ said this before. Like, don't hate filler episodes, because as much Star Wars as we can get, it's great.
Yeah.
But like a lot of shows coming out recently, like outside of Star Wars, it's just like non-stop rapid fire. It's like 10 episodes. All 10 episodes are important. Outside of like, because Mandalorian has like some stray away episodes, but like just watched Outer Banks season 2 in a day. Dude, it's like non-stop, just like, and it's just like, dude, I have to keep watching. And maybe that's like the purpose of why they release these things weekly. But if it came out all in one day, obviously we'd watch it. But like a general audience, like I could see people stopping and be like, oh, the episode was kind of, don't need to keep going after that one.
And that kind of goes back to the effect of having the week to week shows, because like having it week to week, it has a lot of pros, and then it also has cons. So like week to week helps with being like, oh yeah, like I can't wait to see what happens next week. You can do like crazy cliffhangers, and you can do stuff like that. But then when you get one that doesn't, like this, where we're like, oh, it's out of place, or like, oh, I just didn't think that it really just did anything for me, or whatever, or like it's kind of filler or whatever. I think that those get more criticism and get more like negative hate, I'm a one-timer, negative view on it, just because it's so isolated, because you were waited a week for it.
Yep. Negative hate is worse than positive hate.
You do not want that.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to one of our favorite episodes, War-Mantle.
We didn't even say anything about Infested or what really happened.
Let's talk about that.
Recap. Their Sid's bar, little pub, whatever it is, gets taken over by what's that guy's name? by Horns McGee, and
he's some mafia dude.
and he's like gonna sell spice to the Pikes. And so they're like, all right, well, he took over our bar. We need to go back in there, steal the spice, and then he'll be screwed, and I get my bar back. And that's essentially what happens. Like what they say is what happens. You know, there's some like little hiccups along the way. But then when the Pikes are about to kill him, Omega's like, don't kill him. His little pet likes him.
He's actually good. You can't beat it.
Yeah, there's good in everyone, Hunter. And
he's like, oh, fine.
And like that's how the episode ends. You know, it was cool. It's fun. You know, it's cool to see Star Wars, and that's infested. But now we can go on to War-Mantle, which is my favorite episode this season. I remember. I mean, the first thing I said was best episode this season, and BJ, he was the first one to say something to us, and he was like, 3 minutes in, it's already better than last week. So this has definitely been my favorite episode so far. And I don't know if either of you want to have any thoughts before we break it down.
Yeah, I think that this one like was a big redemption of last week. And I mean, and it definitely like helped with my mindset of being like, where are we going? Because I asked BJ even before, so I was like, does this remotely put us in a direction of somewhere, or are they saving everything from the penultimate episode and the finale? You're like, oh no, it gets you going somewhere. And then after watching it, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it does.
Yeah, so your theory was right. Rex was in this episode, kind of, sort of, as a hologram. And
exactly.
Yeah, and one of our questions that we've been wondering since Rebels was, how does Rex know at least one of the other clones that he's with when he's older and on that random planet in the desert? So it starts with like a clone running through the woods, right, of this remote planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, using my hands to talk. And then the clone gets taken. Rex contacts the Bad Batch, asks them to, hey, can you save this clone? Already I'm thinking, is it Wolf or is it Gregor? Is it Wolf or is it Gregor? Or, well, first of all, I thought it was Rex at first when I first watched it, but I'm like, no.
Yeah, the guy kind of looked like Rex in the face.
Yeah, they kind of all look like Rex in the face.
Yeah.
Weird. And then so they go to the planet. They go and find an Empire base after telling Rex, yeah, we'll do it, after Omega guilt trips them into doing it again, because she's kind of the heart of the whole thing.
Yeah, she's kind of calling the shots these days.
Yeah.
Even if she doesn't feel like she is.
She just puts on puppy dog eyes, her New Zealand accent, and they're like, we can't resist that.
My favorite part was where they're like weighing out the pros and cons, and Wrecker was like, yeah, I agree. And then laid out the cons. He's like, yeah, I agree with that too. Just like no decision making on his part.
Yep. Our himbo king.
Yeah, so yeah, when they land on the planet, they think it's going to be quick extraction. Also, Rex gives them like virtually no intel. He's like, I gotta go. So something's happening to Rex. So maybe that's where we're heading next episode. So yeah, that's it for Rex. The whole episode, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And he leaves the hologram in a hurry. But they get there, they think it's a quick extraction, but they realize that, yeah, like BJ said, they're on an Empire base, and they find out that there's TK units instead of C units. So
which is the call sign or the numeric numbering or however you want to call it for stormtroopers. Something very interesting that they did that I think is super cool is, so like obviously these don't look like clones because they say they have different armor, and then they also say that they like, and you can look at them and be like, oh, it doesn't really look like a stormtrooper per se. But what they actually did was they took the model from the original Ralph McQuarrie concept art for A New Hope, like in '74, and they took what that prototype, like, because there was a picture of a stormtrooper with a lightsaber, like a white lightsaber, and then there was a bunch of other like stormtroopers, and they all had this like different look to them, And that's the character model they used for the stormtroopers. So it's like an early version of the early version of concept art. I just think it's like so meta and
Yeah, that's
kind of
pretty cool. And that's a fun fact that I did not know. But yeah, no, that makes it cool on a time. Like, it shows that the people who are, making these shows, like whether it's Filoni or if it's like someone way down low, like, hey, we should put these in there. Like that'd be a cool callback. Like since the acquisition by Disney, they still care. They still care about Star Wars, even if they fumbled some things.
And also having the clone commandos back is super cool. Because I mean, it's just
also the first look of them, the first iteration of them in Star Wars.
Yeah, outside the games, right?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't remember this until I saw something today, but Gregor was a clone commando in season 5 of the Clone Wars.
Okay.
Which I completely forgot that they had them in there.
The blue,
yellow.
Or I'm talking about the blue shield or the.
Oh yeah.
The lens, it looks so cool.
Yeah.
It does look super cool.
Looks tough.
And something funny too is like that, like, hey, yeah, they find out that these are not clones or whatever, and like that kind of has bigger arcing things we can get to in a second, but that they're still like stunning them.
Yeah.
And then when they get to Wrecker, he just starts shooting them with normal.
He doesn't.
He's like, no, they're gonna kill us. Like, I'm done with this.
Yeah. I think you're gonna see a lot of.
They're just humans.
Yeah. You don't like us.
Oh, I don't. Did he know that? I still don't think he knew that.
Who knows? I don't, probably not at that point.
Wrecker, so it's like it's all good.
Okay.
And like, so like as far as like the overarching thing that kind of like A, drives the story, B, gives you like a standpoint of where we are and time period and how things are moving. When they're talking about like these are our replacements and like that they are moving forward with the stormtroopers and stuff, and they were like yeah, they're not as effective, right? And like, which is something that is like you see that in like that's why stormtroopers never hit anything, and like what people ask that question all the time, why are clones so good and then stormtroopers, all that kind of stuff. And they were like, well, yeah, they believe that like more numbers are more because there's an endless stream of these guys and girls and everything.
Yeah,
they like
that actually was one of the best lines in the elevator. It's like, oh well, like quality is better than quantity, and then the elevator opens and it's like 50, what I can't, whatever, more than 10 people.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, how do you feel about quantity now? So that was funny.
Yeah. And yeah, and so like that kind of has a lot of like story to kind of build off of moving forward. But then like you get the Camino stuff too, which is like the flip side of it, where they're like,
yeah, that was a cool part of the episode. Because Crosshairs in this episode, don't know if we said that yet, but then he was on Camino, and the Kaminoans are like slowly trying to evacuate people, right? Like some of the younger clones.
Yeah, they're trying to just get out and leave because they're realizing the Empire is just dumping them and doesn't want them anymore. And they are not the Republic.
Yeah, and I thought that was like a really cool line that they put in there, that they were like, the Empire, these were soldiers of the Republic that no longer exists.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought that was framed really interestingly. And then you have this whole thing moving forward too with Lama Su, who is the nurse who was taking care of.
That was a crazy part. Like, dude, there's like so many good. Like, if the Camino part wasn't in this episode, it would still be a good episode. But like, just more cool things going on. But sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, so just like they're like, we're gonna keep you, and then like it's basically implied they kill the prime minister because there's no need for politicians.
Yeah, just scientists. Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw some people talking about this on a bunch of different stuff on YouTube when they were saying like, could this have like bigger like repercussions later when it comes to like having her as the cloner, like that's her expertise. And like, as we know with every single piece of Star Wars we're getting in every series, there's a cloning aspect to like literally every single thing.
Mhm.
So it's like, does this have more play than what we think right now?
Yeah,
You know?
I definitely think I really think she's the one who helped Snoke, like or created Snoke, helped create Snoke, and then they
Hmm.
used uh Grogu's whatever for that,
Hmm.
and then
His
like that's
DNA.
how Omega and Grogu kind of mixed together.
Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it is gonna. I think that definitely is gonna play a part moving forward because they're gonna take her character and like they could do something cool with it. I think, and like and then it kind of makes sense, and you're kind of creating a thing where you're like, okay, the cloning thing kind of is going somewhere. Um, but I don't know. I just thought that was like you're saying, like even if we didn't have that, it would still be a great episode. But they're planting like all these seeds now, which is what we've been waiting for.
Mhm.
Because like kind of to wrap up like the synopsis of what happens is like they're trying to get away. Hunter falls. They want to go back for him. They can't. They're like all losing their minds, and like especially Omega. And then he like orders them to leave, and they leave. And then he gets captured, and um, he's like in prison. And Crosshair comes by, and he was like, "Oh, I was hoping for all of you, and not just this one." And then he's like takes the red like basically the cell door off. Um, but like as far as that whole aspect goes too, that's like another big seed that we needed. We talked about this in the prior weeks. Like we needed stakes to this really badly because it was getting to a point where you're like, wow, what is mattering right now? Like
Mhm.
what's going on? And this like really puts some stakes in points where you're like, this could go a lot of different directions. And I will say this right now, and I have been thinking about this for a while. 100% there's a season two.
100%.
Yeah.
Not confirmed by anyone, but just 100% in Drew's head.
Yeah,
But he
Yeah.
still could be 100% correct.
I just believe like at this point that like that I just don't see them not capitalizing on it.
Yeah, I mean, we just don't have. I mean, I know Echo had good screen time in the Clone Wars, but not enough tech. I mean, not even enough Crosshair, even though he's like kind of one of the baddies.
yeah.
And
I was gonna say like actually this episode Tech was kind of doing more stuff. Like he
yeah,
was
I noticed
Yeah.
that. I was like,
yeah.
I know they didn't make this episode when the show start. Like these have been done or at least wrapped up. They can't go back and change things. But I was like, it's funny how they figured, like probably when they're at the end, they're like, oh, dude, Tech's not doing enough. Like
Yeah.
we need to write some lines for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think too also they I mean they obviously could do this like they want to wrap up like not wrap up but they do want to address the storyline as far as like the betrayal of Crosshair, and then I think that they why they will have a season two is like with the Lamasu stuff they might want to like try to push it into being like connecting more than just alluding to that they're clones and
Mhm.
stuff. um, and I think that they do, even though we've gotten a lot of it, I think they do like want to even build up more the relationship between like Wrecker and Omega and Hunter. I think they want to take those stakes and kind of like push them even further so that when they do something like, I don't know, lose Omega 1,000% like they're going to in the next season at some point, that it
Mhm.
kind of matters more and it like there's more like anxiety to it, I guess is the best point way to say it, than like if you lose her for like half an episode and then you're like, oh, okay, she's back.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but also what if like there's a whole Rogue One situation and they all die?
Oh,
Except
that very well could happen.
yeah.
Yeah, I just
Or
don't like.
two, but we get like a wreck show. I would love that.
I
Yeah.
I think there will be a season two because unless they have like 2 90-minute episodes where they can kind of wrap this up. Because I mean, I guess movies are only like so long and they like, characters enter and die and whatnot. So they could potentially, but with just the way the show has been paced,
Yeah.
don't think that they'll end it in these next 2 episodes. But they could if they were longer. I think that we'll all make it out, or like they'll make it into next season. But like back to this episode, I think it's good that Omega wasn't the one who got captured again.
Yeah, I was also thinking that.
In the next episode, like it's Hunter, and they could actually milk it for where he doesn't get saved into the last episode because he's Hunter, he can do things on his own, like he can like be crawling around the.
Well, he's basically the main character for all intents and purposes. So I think doing that and taking away like their leader and like
their voice.
Yeah, it was like an actual problem. When Omega was gone, it was kind of like,
find Omega.
Our little sister, we'll get her, I guess.
But now Omega is gonna be like, we need to go get Hunter, and then Tech's gonna be like, he told us to turn back, and Wrecker's gonna be like, those are both good points. It's gonna be problematic. So,
I think like I'm gonna say it again. We're gonna get Rex next episode. With the Gregor reunion, I think that they're gonna like spin that into like going back for Hunter, and then you're gonna end up getting the like interaction between Crosshair and them. If Crosshair doesn't somehow turn like and somehow gets his chip removed or something, and then that ends up happening. I mean, I could see that.
Hunter actually is Wolf.
No,
but do you guys think?
Well, yes. I also think Rex is going to be in the next episode, but I think Wolf is going to be with Rex, so we're just going to get that 3 reunion. They're going to go. They're going to get their chips out. I think the Martinez sisters are going to help. I think it's just going to be an all cumulative thing, helping the Bad Batch get Hunter. I don't see us getting Hera again or them, but I just feel like allies from who they've helped will help them. Maybe the Separatists help a little.
That's actually not bad.
Yeah,
that's not a bad. Zeb.
We get Saw Gerrera.
I forgot he's in the show. He's in everything though.
But also, this made me realize I'm fine with not seeing Ahsoka this season. I've accepted it.
It kind of makes sense unless we figure out like why she's not with Rex.
She's hiding.
Yeah,
I'm fine with no more returning characters, not new characters, but like characters showing up. I'm fine with what we have, and it's just Well, other than Wolf, Wolf can be with Rex. That's fine.
And maybe Zeb.
Yeah, and maybe like Ahsoka.
And you know what, Ahsoka too.
Maybe Luke.
Baby Luke.
Maybe some 2-year-old.
He's 2, and he's doing everything. The last thing that I thought for sure we were gonna get in this season, like halfway through, that now even kind of furthers my belief that we're gonna get season 2 is I think they want to show Boba Fett really bad, because I don't think they would have brought up that like wouldn't have brought him up at all, wouldn't have made this connection.
Wouldn't have called him Alpha.
Yeah, like without having a plan. But I also like, and I could be completely wrong, but I just don't see there being like enough time left to divert the story to get a Boba Fett.
Yeah, with 2 episodes left, the rest of the season, I hope, is about saving Hunter. If they save him next episode and they just have like finale, that's gonna be crazy. But
in the first like 5 minutes.
They like turn around immediately and save him.
No, like they don't even do that. Like the next episode opens with him in the woods. Oh wait, no, they already got him. He's in the cell, just literally gets everyone, kills Crosshair. He's like, all right, I'm out of here. Wait, was it one of you two? This is not totally off topic, but off what I'm just saying. Send the Rambo Hunter comparisons, like the shot by shot.
No, I don't know if I've even seen
Rambo falls off a cliff, does the same thing, falls into some trees, and does so all cool. That same stuff. It was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's it. Because obviously Hunter looks like him.
Yeah. If he gets saved in the first like 5 minutes of that episode, I'm gonna just be like, oh my god, dude.
Even if he gets saved at all, I'm gonna be mad. In this episode, he should get saved.
Now, do we think that like maybe not next episode, but the finale might be like long, like the series kickoff was.
Long in terms of maybe like more than 30 minutes, but I don't think they're gonna do a whole hour
I
plus.
feel like the last two will be like a two-parter, and maybe hopefully they'll each be like 45 minutes.
That would be cool. I'm not gonna have my hopes up.
Yeah.
I could see it being like 30 minutes, 35 to 37 minutes, and then like 45 minutes, maybe 50 on for the.
Well, I guess we'll see. So I guess final theories. I mean, we'll do this next week too, because there'll be one episode left where we can really just like make our theories, I guess.
Yeah, that'll be the big theory one.
But for me, season 2, a hunter doesn't get saved until the last episode 16. Crosshair does redeem himself, but he dies doing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I would say Rex. You get those 3. I think I have a weird, like, I don't know why this would happen, but like I could see like Crosshair like helping him escape for whatever reason. Like I don't know how that would do that, but yeah. And then like trying to come back and it being like a weird thing, and then I think
like head shocked or something.
No, I could totally, because Hunter is, the fearless, the leader, and then whatever, Crosshair had some beef with him, or like wanting, like he was the next man up, but I could see him like, hey, like look around, like you're the last clone here, one of the last clones.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Like you're gonna get phased out soon, and like I'm doing this for our family, like our blood, do that whole thing. Yeah. So like we have a kid back at home on the ship. Like we need to do this together. So they could do that.
If we got like a full on like clone versus new stormtrooper thing, that would be so sick.
Yeah.
And they could
because we have to see what happens in Camino. Like something has to happen.
Also Hauser, people were obsessed with him over the internet.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna have to do something.
If they don't do something with him this season, then they're gonna do it in this.
Dude, I wonder what people like when people saw him, the team who was like, yes, I'm so glad we put him in there, and they're like, no speaking lines, and they're like, he doesn't speak the rest of the season. So, whatever.
But yeah, I think those are things. Yeah, I think that's what might happen. The clone rebellion, I think might be a thing.
That'd be cool. And then just blow Camino.
They're gonna dust them. We're gonna find out. That's another thing I wanted to say. That we're gonna find out what they meant by decommissioned clones and rebels. And Rex said that.
Yeah, because it's like, do they just go to retirement, or do they just like hunt them down like they do Jedi, Mandalorians, and everybody else that's like slightly different?
Yeah. Well,
so they just keep adding things to that list. Like, well, we're gonna hunt you, and we're gonna hunt you and you, because it's like slightly different things.
Well, yeah, these next 2 episodes are no fillers. I'm just gonna say there's gonna be no fillers for the rest of the season, and if they do, that's crazy because there's 2 left. We have the penultimate episode and then the finale. 2 very cool words. So, yeah, we're excited to see what happens next.
Yeah. So, again, like, let us know what you guys think. We will probably have you guys commenting on this. Let us know like on Instagram at the Bad Batch Podcast. Let us know on Twitter. YouTube is the same. You know the deal. It's all the Bad Batch Podcast, and then Bad Batch Pod on Twitter. You can head over to the link in our Instagram bio. I'll take you to the Anchor page, and you can check all our stuff out there. If you feel so inclined, you can support us monthly, which that would be very, very cool. Also, go ahead and give us a rating, leave a review, just so it kind of gives us some kind of ballpark idea of why are we feeling out there, ladies and gents. So let us know, and we'll see you back next week with some real deal big boy theories.